Lockdown. It's tough. How to handle lockdown and not go mad. 5 tips that you can apply right now. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Andrew V. I'm about mastering your mind, transforming your body, and achieving freedom. And this channel talks about everything and anything around those topics. So today, we're talking lockdown. Now, if you stay to the end of the video, I'll give you the one thing that you must not do that will definitely make you go crazy. So, let's get straight into it. Whether you're in lockdown, you've been in lockdown, are in lockdown, or the virus has taken over the world and we're all in lockdown, these 5 tips are going to help you to not go crazy. Tip number 1, readjust your goals. What you'll find is when we experience lockdown or a change or a shift in our life, then suddenly all our previous goals don't really apply to the current circumstances. What I found myself doing is still getting hard on myself or pushing myself on the same goals. And I was like, okay, they won't let us go outside, but what I can do is I'll just do everything over the phone or over video, or I'll just do that. Or I wanted to leave overseas. I wanted to travel the world and they locked me down. And I was like, okay, what if I buy a plane? I mean, I don't have the money to buy a plane, but what if? So the idea is I kept my goals exactly the same, even though lockdown happened. And that caused me to go a bit crazy. So the first tip, and this is the biggest tip, is readjust your goals. When you want to readjust your goals, measure them to make sure they're realistic for now. Because if you've been watching the news and if you see how governments are operating at the moment, things change daily. Every day there's a new limit or a new restriction. So make sure that your goals are aligned with things that aren't reliant on external factors. So tip number 1, readjust your goals for lockdown and make sure they're attainable in the current state, no matter what happens with the virus or anything else. Tip number 1. Tip number 2. Now, I've always been the preacher of this, but a messy space, a cluttered space calls for a cluttered mind. Tip number 2, to not go mad during lockdown, is you are now in your house, clean it up. Organize it, right? It's a visual and it's a feeling thing as well. So when you're actually walking around your space, which you're now going to be in 24/7, you want to make sure that it's clean, that it's elegant, that it feels nice. When you walk in, it feels like your space. Don't have things all over the shop. It's just not going to work. So tip number 2 is clean up and organize your space. It will cause you not to go crazy. Don't go crazy and remodel your house. I'm just saying, get rid of the clutter, clean your space, so when you walk in, the room breathes energy, breathes light into you and freshness instead of damp, cold, cluttered, all the same old stuff. When will they let me leave? I'm a crab. You don't want to do that, right? Clean it up so when you wake up in the morning, you feel fresh. That's tip number 2 to not go mad during lockdown. Number 3 tip to not go mad during lockdown. So, this is an easy one. There's those things over time that you've always said, oh, someday, one day I'll do, but you have another party, or you have work engagements, or you have to see family, or you have to do this, do that, and it always gets pushed back someday, one day, and then you're old and dead. Tip number 3 is learn something new. And find that thing that you've been resisting. Find that thing that you've wanted to try or dabble in, but you've never just fitted in. This is the best time to learn something new. You've got no distractions. You've got no reason to be anywhere. You're not feeling FOMO because you're not missing out on anything. We're all stuck at home anyway. So just find something. Something that you've always wanted to learn and go do it. Go take those singing lessons online. Bad example. Go learn to do that. Go learn to produce music. Go learn to make videos, to do woodwork, to mow the lawn. I think you should already know how to mow the lawn. If you don't, then... Or maybe you don't have a lawn. Anyway, point being, tip number 3 to not go mad during lockdown is really simple. Find something new that you've always wanted to learn and go do it. Dip your foot and your face and all of it straight into it. Get deep into it, get amongst it, and get a feel for it. This is your time. There's no pressure from the external world to go ahead and try something new. Heck, you may like it. Heck, we'll come out of lockdown, maybe it'll be a new career, a new passion, whatever. Try it. Try it. Try something new. Tip number 3, to not go mad, try something new. Tip number 4 of how to handle lockdown without going mad. So one of the reasons we do go a bit mental is if we don't have social interactions. Now you may say, oh, I never speak to anyone anyway because I'm an introvert, or I'm an extrovert, I speak to all the people, I've got people all over the phone all the time and I'm this, I'm that, right? No matter where you're at, I need you to understand something. We as human beings have survived this long because we've lived in communities. We've lent off each other. We've leaned on each other is the correct word. And the reality is that because we've been leaning on each other and having this human connection, we've evolved to where we are now. So, tip number 4 is create connections and get in touch with people. Get communities, get in touch with people. Create a WhatsApp group between your best friends. Create a WhatsApp group between your family. Create a Facebook group around a topic you love and invite all the friends that love that same topic. This is the time not to distance yourself from people and just wait it out, because that's what I was doing. And then I started going mental because it was just me, myself, and I. And if you know yourself, if we leave you there for 10 days alone without speaking to another human being, you're going to go a bit crazy. So that's why people are going crazy. So really simple. Again, readjust your goals because now we're in lockdown. So things aren't going to look and smell the same. So what you want to do is create communities, create connections, and reach out with them daily. That will definitely help you not go mad during lockdown. Tip number 5. This is a big one. This is a big one which a lot of people get resistance on, but depending on where you're at, this may or may not be useful. Start a journal. Tip number 5, to not go mad during lockdown, is start a journal. What I'm saying is you don't need to journal your life. You don't need to journal about what you ate yesterday. Your journal is specifically there, a piece of paper for you to write on and talk to yourself. How are you feeling that day? For example, I wrote in my journal today, yesterday I had a really great day. I set all my goals and accomplished them. In other news, we are still locked down and I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to leave the house. That makes me quite sad, but I'm still hopeful that society will change or something will happen. So that was my journal entry for the day. Now, it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be anything, but it's just a conversation with yourself. It's been proven. It's been proven that journaling every day, even without lockdown, improves your mental health, improves your self-awareness, and improves your relationship with yourself. And if you improve the relationship with yourself, you won't go mad in lockdown. And that's tip number 5. All right, thanks for sticking with me this far. So, what is the one thing that you want to not do? Otherwise, you'll go crazy. And I'm talking to everybody here. The one thing you don't want to do is get intoxicated daily. Whether it be alcohol, whether it be drugs, whether it be anything else that changes your current state artificially, without you artificially changing it, It's a big no-no. See, the issue is being in lockdown, you think you're kind of in free land and you're just waiting it out. It's only going to be another couple of days. It's only going to be another couple of weeks. But what happens is when you don't find useful things or things that keep your brain working, keep your heart connected to everybody, keep your goals moving, keep progressing, and keep getting intoxicated every day, what you're doing essentially is slowly, bit by bit, forgetting about bits of life and bits of who you are. So the one thing I'll say avoid is getting intoxicated daily. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a drink on a Saturday or a Sunday or maybe a cheeky wine on a Wednesday. But if it's turning into a daily thing, you will absolutely go mad. And not in a good way mad. You're not going to be having a good time. So the one thing you want to stay away from is getting intoxicated every day. Now, that may be logical, that may be something you already know. But I'm here to say it again, don't get intoxicated every day if you want to survive this lockdown and come out the other end alive and kicking. So, I've been Andrew V. I hope you've enjoyed my 5 tips of how to not go crazy in lockdown. I went a bit crazy in lockdown last week, but I'm less crazy this week because I've applied some of those tips. Hopefully you do too, and hopefully you get value. So, if you like what I saw here, I have plenty of other videos about organizing your life and operating in a much faster and more efficient manner. So go check those out. But otherwise, stay safe in lockdown and please don't go mad. Enjoy. Bye.